everybody, and welcome to the third pre-event of the Startup World Cup Austria. Today, we are hosting Team East. I'm Laura, the Managing Director of the Austrian Angel Investors Association. We are the leading private network for angel investors in Austria, and we host this event together with Austrian Startup. They are the biggest startup platform in Austria. And we're really happy that we already could manage to get to the third pre-event today. And I'm also happy that in about 1 month, the finale will also take place. And this will be the first real competition of the Startup World Cup in Austria. But now we will hand over to Noah from the Startup World Cup team to deeper go into the concept of the Startup World Cup.
Hello, and welcome to the pre-event for Startup World Cup Austria. Startup World Cup is a platform powered by Pegasus Tech Ventures, which is a global venture capital fund based out of Silicon Valley. We've made over 180 investments to date, including some popular ones like SoFi, 23andMe, and SpaceX. Startup World Cup is the largest global pitch competition with over 70 different regional events across the world. We are so excited to be taking part in the Austrian ecosystem and be bringing Startup World Cup to Austria. Thank you all so much, and let the games begin.
Yes, so happy to be part of this thing. And we're already saying this today for the third time, but it's so important to get Austrian startups in front of the curtain and really present them to investors, because there are so many Austrian champions. We now also have our first unicorn with Bitbanda, and there are many more to come. And we're really excited today to have the finalist of Vienna, Burgenland, and also, I hope I'm saying it right, Upper Austria today. And okay, it's Lower Austria today. No, okay, wrong again. But I'm so happy that we have those. And I think we're having 9 startups today, and we're really delighted to present them to investor and also to the outside world and also to an international audience. And now we also have support for our Federal Minister for Digital and Economic Affairs, Margarete Schamburg, who will say a few words about this competition.
Since I moved to Vienna, I'm in constant contact with successful startups, and a lot of them come from Vienna, Lower Austria, and the Burgenland. You can be proud to be part of this event, and I'm sure you will be successful. I'm looking forward to a lot of successful startups from this region for the future. Good luck and all the best.
Yeah, really happy to have those great supporters. We also get support from A1. You will meet Patrick later on, also in the jury. We have support from the Wirtschaftskammer Austria. You will meet them later on in their session, which we will host with the Gründerservices and also the Außenwirtschaftscenter. We have support from the Austrian Business Agency, which also supports us with their event Vienna Up, where also the finale of this will take place. And we have support from Masters. They are your partner when it comes to tax consulting. And now we're gonna come to today's agenda. We will start with a panel about the different ecosystems, to tell you about the different potentials and also to tell you the beauty of the different regions. Then we will hand over to the startups. We're starting with digital health and biotech, going to security and big data. We will then have a short break, go to social and climate impact, and last but not least, we have the startups from future work and edutech. After this, we will have a short break again, where it's possible to meet the startups in their sessions. Today, it's a little bit different. We have sessions also for the startups. So if you go to session, you can either join Gründerservices and the Außenwirtschaftscenter, or you can also meet the startups in their categories, in their sessions, instead of the expos. So that's a little bit different for today. And we will be really interested who is there, who are participants. Please really write in the chat, where are you from? What's your, why are you here? What do you want to get out of this event? So it's great if you just use the opportunity to be active here and really engage with the other participants. And now it's already time for our panel discussion. And I also welcome Hannah on stage. She is a managing director of Austrian Startups.
very warm welcome also from my side. As Laura just said, I'm Hanna Wunsam, I'm Managing Director of Austrian Startups, and I'm super happy to do the deep dive of Team East today with you. So we will explore the 3 different federal states of Austria, Vienna, Lower Austria and Burgenland, and I have got 3 very special people together with me who will tell you more about their states. And I would love to introduce them to you, or better said, actually ask them to introduce themselves. And I would like to start with Maggie Childs. She is board member of Austrian Startups.
Hey, hi. So yeah, thanks so much for the invitation. I'm really excited to talk about all the different value that we have in these various regions in East Austria. I'm the founder and CEO of a media startup called Hometown Media, and we make the magazine Metropole, which is directed at the international public here in Vienna and Austria. And so a lot of those people are also in the startup industry and in innovation or in research. So yeah, I know these ecosystem from lots of angles. So I'm excited about the conversation.
Beautiful. Happy to have you with us today representing Vienna. For Lower Austria, we have with us Hannes Baumgartner. He's local representative of Lower Austria.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Hannes. I'm local representative for Lower Austria and co-founder CEO of Naus Ventures, and also co-founder of a club that is focused on driving a local ecosystem in my hometown in St. Pölten. And I'm looking forward to the discussion with all of you.
And last but not least, we have our local representative of Burgenland, who is Michael Sedlak, and I would love him to introduce himself.
Yeah, thanks, Hannah. Thanks. Hi, everybody from Burgenland. I'm Michael. I'm on the one hand local rep of Austrian Startups. I'm my main job, innovation manager at the Wirtschaftsagentur Burgenland. That's a regional business development agency supporting startups and innovative companies. And I'm also co-founder with some guys from Győr of Startup Pannonia, cross-border startup community between Austria and Hungary. So a lot of experience in the startup community and great job all the time.
Great. Before we start into the discussion, a big shout out to the audience. You can really use the chat to interact with us, interact with the panel. So first of all, make use of it in order to introduce yourself, share with us your name, your LinkedIn, but also ask questions to the audience. I will make sure they are being asked to the panel, of course. But let's start into looking a little bit deeper into Burgenland. Michael, could you tell us a little bit more? Are there any specific industries that are interesting in Burgenland? Why should you, as an investor, for example, look especially into Burgenland when it comes to startups?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, if you think about Burgenland, maybe most people think about Lake Neusiedl and kite surfing, or think about the wine or tourism, or maybe the outlet center in Pandorf. But our startup community is quite good. We have not those 18-year-old startups who found a company and in the evening like to go to cinema and so on, because of course it's different in Burgenland. We have not the major cities, so we have more second wave founders, and therefore it's probably for investors more interesting because these are people who have some experience from the company world, from the corporate world. They had a first career and then usually they come back to Burgenland. So we don't have many people coming from Vienna or Austria or somewhere else to Burgenland, but more people studying, working in Vienna or Graz, and then coming back and starting a company there. So they have some money spared. They have usually a good idea from the previous company, and we have great environment here in Burgenland. We have short ways. So I think the best advantage is that everybody knows everybody, which can help you in a lot of ways.
This is a repeating topic that founders in the federal states of Austria actually say the best thing about their state is everybody knows everyone. It's super easy to get in contact with each other. Maggie, what would you say about the ecosystem in Vienna? Is it the same? What are the advantages or disadvantages of going to Vienna to found?
I think the other two panelists will agree with me that Vienna is the exception always to everything. There was even a really cool campaign, and the tourism industry in Vienna did a campaign for about 20 years because it was such a good campaign that was called Wien ist anders, which means Vienna is different. And I think that's probably always the case. Also for the startup ecosystem, Vienna is a little bit of its own thing. It has a similar aspect in the fact that even in Vienna, a city of 2 million people, you still have this very tight core of really strong people in the startup ecosystem that have really international connections and can really help you jumpstart very quickly if you get to know the right people. And I think that's the special part about the Viennese ecosystem in particular, is also Vienna is on the map for a lot of people worldwide. Even people who don't know where Austria is, they might know where Vienna is. And that's perhaps sounds a little banal as an important thing, but it is very important when you look at the countries that surround Austria. Right? There are 8 countries that border on Austria, and so for them, Vienna is this central hub that really doesn't require any kind of contemplation. Would I want to live in Vienna? Of course, it's close to everything. And it's not just close to everything. You have in Vienna, you have a kind of a microcosm of any kind of big metropolis in the world. So if you think about, London, Paris, New York, Tokyo, the kind of culture and the kind of businesses that are located, but also especially international organizations, NGOs, and research centers, universities. Vienna is the biggest university town in the German-speaking world. And so you got a lot of really smart people and really interesting people and really amazing creative people all in this one, I think amazingly crafted city, a city that's really meant and built to live in. And I got stuck here, man. I'm from New York, for Christ's sake. I can live wherever I want. But I came to Vienna. I absolutely adore it. I tried to leave. I tried twice to leave. And I keep coming back because the city is just freaking amazing.
Yeah, I have to agree. Living in Vienna as well. But Hannes, what about Lower Austria? Is there any? What would kind of be the first steps as a founder when I want to get some more information? Where do I go? Are there any institutions? What do I do when I want to found in Lower Austria?
Well, it's since I didn't really get to introduce Lower Austria, maybe I'll do it this way. Lower Austria is really hard to pinpoint as one ecosystem because there's quite a few parts of Lower Austria that behave totally different. So you have Klosterneuburg, Korneuburg, and to some degree Wiener Neustadt that is basically, and to some degree even St. Pölten, that is basically almost Vienna because it's so close. It's 10, 15, 20 minutes train ride, which Maggie, you would probably agree in New York is nothing, right? So on the one hand, I think a lot of people are drawn towards Vienna because it's just so close. But then on the other hand, there are more rural and more remote parts of Lower Austria. So if you think about the whole part in Amstetten, very strong industrial background. So really heavy industry, steel work, stuff like that. I think to answer your question, it really depends on where you are. And there are quite a few local initiatives in each part of the state. So there would be Zukunftsakademie Mostviertel in Amstetten, for example. There's Founders STP in St. Pölten. There's quite a few startup initiatives from local universities. So FH Krems, FH St. Pölten, FH Wiener Neustadt, they all have startup centers and they all try to connect people at their local scene. So to answer your question, it's really hard to answer your question.
Can I jump in, Hannah? Just because
sure.
Think of something. Hannah, yes, they're a little bit like suburbs, I guess, but there's also IST is out in Lower Austria, and that's something I think a lot of people internationally don't know about. Like IST is doing pretty cool stuff, and they have an incubator and a fund and all kinds of really cool investment instruments for research projects to spin off into companies. And I don't know, when I was not yet aware of IST, I was just like, oh yeah, Grosseneuburg or whatever is out there. But then I went to visit their campus, and it's amazing. Oh my gosh, they have so much cool technology, fantastic instruments, and I think a lot of startups, particularly in like med tech and biotech or genetic engineering or things like that, could definitely benefit from that ecosystem they've built around themselves.
Absolutely, agreed.
Yeah, you can also see that in the numbers in the monitor, how like those kind of institutions actually then also influence different sectors actually springing up, and there are new startups in the medtech and life science area that are actually evolving in Lower Austria, so a cluster that is being built. Michael, is there also a cluster or a bigger institution like that in Burgenland that people should know of?
Well, we're starting right now an initiative. It's called SüdHub. It's a startup and founder center in the southern part of Burgenland. So we are supporting all startups across Burgenland from north to south, which is quite a long way. If you want to go there by bike, maybe it's like 2 days. So we thought we didn't have any major institutions so far. So from Burgenland, from Wirtschaftsagentur and from Austrian startups, we're supporting, of course, the startups with advice, with know-how, with workshops. But we didn't have a real startup campus so far. So now we're doing this with the SüdHub. We have experienced guys who started an accelerator before, a company accelerator. They know how to do this. I'm also working there. And we are looking right now for startups who have their prototype ready, their MVP, which would like to go to work and maybe also live in Burgenland. We have great wine. I think I said this already. And this is I think, a way where we can support startups which really don't need to live in a big city, because they prefer to work on the land, on the countryside. Also for startups who are looking for maybe more on the hardware side, or opening up some building, because we have more space here than in Vienna. And also we talked about the short path and the better connections, but I think if you want to approach maybe an industrial company for some support, for some pilots, it's always easier on the countryside. I'm talking also of Lower Austria here and the other regions, because you can, it's somehow easier than in Vienna, where you have a lot of competition and a lot of startups. So you maybe get also better visibility.
I absolutely agree, Michael. I think that's very similar for Burgenland and Lower Austria. Also, getting back to what you said before, that a lot of people from Burgenland move to Vienna to study, maybe found their first company, and then go back to Burgenland to, raise their children. Absolutely the same thing for Lower Austria. So quite a bit of older founders. And also space is easier to get by. Yeah.
So somehow, it's I think, yes, we compete with Vienna and with Graz as the major startup hubs in the eastern part. And we also from time to time lose some great startups like Ready to Order, which was founded in Burgenland, even guy from my town, from Burbach. But then the I1 campus called them and said, hey, we give you sales, we give you people, we give you space. And I mean, that's asset we cannot offer in Burgenland. So if need to go to the next step and want to go there, of course, I'm always proud if I see something from Ready to Order and see, okay, if they have success, it's a great thing, but they will come back sooner or later.
I think so, you don't have to, sorry, just to say that,
good.
I don't think it's anything to feel also that's not really regrettable. Like if you think about it, they founded in Burgenland, they had a certain amount of time that they were in Burgenland, and they graduated to a next stage of their company. I don't think that's anything regrettable. They still founded in Burgenland. They were still able to make it work there, and I think that's what shows a good ecosystem, is when this 0 to 1 aspect is really taken care of. When you have that infrastructure, like you said, both knowing people, but people taking you seriously as a company, and that, without this kind of massive competition from a big city, definitely has its benefits. And I think for early stage startups, just what you said, Michael, both of you said actually, is such an asset, to be one of very few to start up a tech company in your region makes you special, and it makes people notice you. And I think that's also a key factor in getting good investment and good partnerships.
Okay. Definitely. Yeah.
Beautiful. So for everyone who wants to have an even better work-life balance, go to Burgenland or Lower Austria. There's more space around you and good wine. No, just kidding. But Maggie, what I would really still love to know, as this is the Startup World Cup, with also the big prize being to actually get a week in Silicon Valley where you go to the final there and be able to experience the ecosystem. You being from the US, do you have any experience how it is if you are an Austrian startup and either want to build first connections to the US ecosystem? Where do I start? And also maybe what are differences that I should be aware of coming to the US as a startup?
Wow. Well, that's a question we could probably fill a book with that answer. But the short answer, I guess, on the one side, I think what's very important to remember when you think about the United States is the state where I come from, so New York State, which is not just New York City, by the way, it's a whole state, and that's bigger than Austria, and we have 50 of those, right? So it's a very big country. So when you go to Silicon Valley, you're not going to America, you're going to Silicon Valley. And that's very important to remember. Like, we also have cultural diversity in the United States, the same way Europe has cultural diversity. We just all speak the same language and have the same passport. That's really the main difference. But I think the difference between an Italian and a Norwegian can be just as different as someone from Wyoming and from Texas. Like, yeah, it can be just as vast. And so it's important to remember that there's that diversity in culture, particularly in places like California, where a lot of the people are not born and raised there. A lot of people move to California, particularly Silicon Valley. So that's important to remember. And another thing is generally for Austrians or Europeans in general, a lot of the times they're very surprised by the openness and inviting atmosphere that they experience. And then again, surprised when that atmosphere does not result in fruitful connections, right? So in a nutshell, people bullshit a lot, yeah? So, and that's not necessarily a Pan-American thing, but it's definitely a thing in Silicon Valley, and it's an important thing to be aware of. And therefore, not that you shouldn't take people seriously, not that you shouldn't take an appointment with someone. No, absolutely, take advantage of all the opportunities you get there. But also, if somebody says, oh, yeah, I can work that out for you, do not bank on one horse in the race in Silicon Valley. You have to have a lot of players in the game in order to make it work. But those are two things I think is important to be aware of. Otherwise, just general founder recommendations, be prepared, know your numbers, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, also keep your head about you, paying attention and being aware and observant of how the people react to your idea, how the people react to, your business model or your whatever stage you are in your project. Yeah, just making sure you pay attention and you keep track of what you're learning and how it differs from what you learned in the markets that you were previously involved in. That's
so, Maggie,
basic advice.
Question. So we have now been punned as the first unicorn from Austria that didn't go to Silicon Valley. So do you think that it should be still a goal to be at some point in time in Silicon Valley and raise a startup there, or shall we say, let's stay in Europe and make it our way?
Great question here. I think the era in which Silicon Valley was the only place to raise money is long gone. I think we don't need to think about it that way anymore. That being said, I think we're in a very important moment now in European startup history, where investors and companies and funds and accelerators are no longer so married to the idea of a company having to be an LLC or having to be a Delaware, to even function for them in a real way. Their whole this idea of move fast and break things has been outlived a little bit. I think that's an understatement, but I've heard from a lot of investors, particularly American investors and Silicon Valley investors, who have said they're looking increasingly towards Europe because they're tired of breaking things. They want sustainable companies that they can grow and diversify and even spin off other companies from an existing company. They're thinking really more in this idea of creating value rather than putting bets. Really kind of altering the way they think. And the difference, it's from investor to investor, it's different. Some investors would rather just bet on 20 companies and hope for the best, right? But investors who are looking to be part of something that grows substantially, and when we're talking about European unicorns, I think we've proven over the past 10 years that this is not a pipe dream. We can create unicorns in Europe, and people are increasingly understanding that and noticing that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Maggie, for giving us here a little bit more of an insight. The time is ticking and we are already coming to an end for our beautiful panel discussion. I would love to have still one question to all of you, which is, would you tell me a moonshot for your federal state? So what do you wish for your state to happen? What would be a major, what would have a major impact on your state if that would happen? Hannes, maybe would you like to start? Moonshot?
Yeah, I guess that would probably be one moonshot that everybody would agree to, regardless of location. I think you talked about unicorns earlier. One or two or a couple of big successes from rural Austria, from Lower Austria and maybe Burgenland, that keep their ecosystem going, that serve as angels, not just financially, but also provide their wisdom and their experience to young founders. I think that would be the single biggest accelerator one could hope for.
I agree.
Yes, yeah, I agree. I think one advantage, if there's an advantage from the whole Corona stuff, is that I think also investors and everybody found out that you can also work from home, work from remote, and build up a company and lead a company. So I think that's an advantage where you can say, okay, you don't have to go to Vienna. Vienna has a lot of advantages, but you can still stay in the rural area, work from there and build up your company. And from our side, we want to do this in Güssing now, and we want to build up founder centers, startup centers throughout Burgenland and help the people who live here to build up their companies there. And Hannes, if you want to have the unicorn, the next one, I'll give it to you, no problem. So I'm satisfied with one or two companies for 200 million euro. That's fine for me.
Right, yeah, it doesn't have to be a unicorn, I agree.
Very humble of you, Michael.
Yeah.
Maggie, what about Vienna? Do you have a moonshot?
What would be our moonshot? I think for when it comes to moonshots, you always have to think little globally, right? So, and I think for Vienna, because the government is sitting here, I'm gonna actually maybe say this on a federal level, if that's all right. I think the best thing for all of our ecosystems and also Vienna would be in Viennese history, right? Culture, banking has been really a central part, yeah? And fintechs are coming out of here. We have the unicorn, we have all these great things. We're very creative in the financial industry. So we should incentivize investors to move their money here. So I think that would be a huge moonshot for Austria to welcome foreign money in a different way. And I think that would really benefit the startup ecosystem, and not just because we need to do it for the benefit of the companies, but also because that kind of ecosystem attracts talent up the kazoo. And I think that's something that we can all, whether we're sitting in our Weinberg, our vineyard in Burgenland, or on our castle in Lower Austria, I think that will benefit the whole ecosystem of the country. So that will be my moonshot.
Those are beautiful last words. Thank you all so much for joining me on the panel today and sharing some insights from the different ecosystems. I will now hand back to Laura, and I'm very excited to see all of the different pitches today. Good luck to all the startups.
Thank you, guys.
So welcome back from my side. Before we see the startups, one thing we need for sure is a jury. And we are really delighted already for the third time to have those wonderful people giving feedback to the startups and also helping us to choose a winner. And first, I'm welcoming Selma Podanovic. She's board member of the Austrian Angel Investors Association. Hi.
Hi, Laura. Hi to the whole team. Fantastic to be with you today. Really excited. It has been already 2 fantastic sessions. Today, the third one. I can't wait to see all of them. Also in my role as the co-founder of the Austrian Angel Investors Association, a board member, but also representing the European perspective as vice president of the European Business Angel Network. I'm looking forward to see the best in Austria.
Thank you, Selma. And second, I want to have a really warm welcome to Michael Ionita. He is board member of Austrian Startups. Hi.
Hey, thank you very much for the introduction. Michael, I'm here for the third time now, and I'm looking forward to the pitches. I'm starting my own company next week on Tuesday, so read some news. So I know how you feel. It's going to be the same for me. I have to go around and pitch and make people like my startup. So I will definitely feel with you. I'm looking very much forward to hear your pitches.
Thank you, Michael. And last but not least, we're having Patrick Bösecker von A1.
Hi, everybody. Thanks a lot, Laura, for the very warm words. I'm super excited to be here. We had 2 great sessions, amazing pitches. So for the third time, I think we can expect a lot from our participants. I'm today representing A1. We have our startup program called A1 Startup Campus. We're working together here with seed and early stage startups. And yeah, we're looking for the next Austrian unicorn.
So I think we're already getting excited now to start and also to kick that off. Before we start, as also we had the same format for the first 2 sessions, we have 4 minutes pitch, and then we have 1 to 2 questions depending on the length of the questions. And we will start with the first startup soon. Our first category is digital health and biotech, and the first startup today will be Rotable. So I welcome you on stage. I know Rotable, I think already for 1 year, and I'm also myself really excited how they developed and what's going on with the funding round. So welcome on stage.
And unfortunately, we've got bad news for you. The COVID crisis has shown us that medical staff resources are valuable and scarce. However, we are currently wasting those resources. One doctor spends on average 3 hours per day on admin tasks, leaving less time for patients. One of these time-wasting admin tasks is the clinical rotation scheduling. Now, Lisa's going to show you why.
Did you know that doctors in training have to rotate between up to 14 different medical departments, often across different hospitals, and all of this in only 3 to 6 years? The planning and management of these rotations is highly complex, as hospitals have to ensure a number of requirements, such as the clinical curriculum of each specialization, personal preferences, and many more. Once created, each rotation schedule, but also each change to an already issued schedule, has to be communicated to a high number of stakeholders within and across hospitals. What do you think? How do hospitals currently manage these rotations? Manually, in self-created workarounds. So it's hardly surprising that all requirements are hardly ever met, and that one hospital spends, on average, almost 200 hours per week on managing these clinical rotations. More than half of this time falls upon highly qualified doctors, which is expensive and means valuable medical staff resources are being wasted. Now, these were exactly the type of challenges that I had to face on a daily basis as head of a department responsible for the clinical rotation management across 9 hospitals. There is no suitable software solution available, and I knew that in order to build one, I needed to combine my in-depth know-how in clinical rotation management with expertise in software engineering and venture building. So with David and Yannick, I put together the optimal founding team.
That's right. With Rotable, we are developing the first HR solution that enables hospitals to generate clinical rotation schedules, automated, and to complete related admin tasks with only a few clicks. At its core, we develop an algorithm that calculates ideal schedules across hospitals while accounting for all mentioned requirements. This way, we allow hospitals to efficiently respond to short-term rotation changes and increase quality through planning and preference reliability. Automated workflows and alerts ensure transparent information and communication. We charge hospitals a licensing fee per managed position. Even after purchase, hospitals not only save costs, but Rotable is freeing up much needed medical staff resources to spend on patient-related tasks. So far, we've conducted a thorough market validation, developed a POC, grown our team, and will complete our first beta version this summer. Even though we don't have a product yet, we could already win a large hospital as a paying pilot customer, and 7 hospitals from Germany and Austria already registered for an early access to our beta version. This year's goal is to reach market readiness through our pilot and beta phase. Now, why start with a specialized solution? We leverage our clinical rotation scheduling as an entrance ticket into hospitals and a growing market with very high lifetime values, and plan to make use of several upselling opportunities, especially in the area of recruiting. So apart from the fact that we can have a positive impact on doctors and the training of our future doctors, it also offers us a great upscaling case. Driven by the COVID crisis, healthcare facilities are closing the gap of digitization. We want to play a major role in this, and I'm happy to elaborate on our vision in our expo booth later on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for this energetic pitch. I think the energy was really flowing towards me, and I think that was really nice to see. And yeah, I'm looking towards Ashuri, who wants to ask the first question. We're having Patrick.
Yeah, so very interesting. I think this is touching an area which is super important for our society. I know that it's not always so easy in the medical sector. So my question would be, what are your biggest obstacles? What are your hurdles?
Our biggest hurdles are definitely the long sales cycles in healthcare. So we are talking about sales cycles of 12 months, sometimes 18 months. And if you want to win over a whole hospital group, it may take even 2 years. So this is where we need to optimize our processes. And what we've done so far, and what is really beneficial for us, we're using networking effects. So most of the hospitals are cooperating with each other when it comes to the training of doctors. So when we have won over one hospital, we can get from one hospital to another, and therefore shorten the sales cycle. And yeah, we built up a pretty strong network in Austria and are currently working on our German network. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Sure. Thank you.
Laura, you're muted.
Thank you. We're having a second question from Michael.
Hey, cool. I'm getting to ask my question. Yes, so I wonder about the competitive advantage that you think you have against your competitors. Which are those?
Okay, so basically we have 3 competitors in the US that are specialized on the US specific requirements. So you can't just take this solution and go to Europe. it wouldn't work. So basically in Europe, we have a first mover advantage. And our unfair advantage stands right next to me because she's an expert when it comes to clinical rotation management. And most software companies fail when it comes to translating the requirements of a hospital into IT requirements. And I guess this is our advantage, especially the network that she brings in. Does it answer the question?
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we're staying in the space of annoying things. Our second startup for today is Snore Free. And as the name already indicates, it's about snoring and how to get rid of it. So welcome on stage, Snore Free.
Yes, hello.
Das gibt's ja nicht. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. I'm sorry I can't share my video. Can you hear us? Can you see the presentation?
Yeah, we can hear and see you really well. Thank you.
Okay, great. So we can start, yes?
Okay, good.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
My name is Sigismund Genger and I'm a well-experienced entrepreneur and since 3 years the CEO of the Snore Free Health app.
And I'm Dario Linders, a speech therapist and CMO. I invented a very effective anti-snore training out of which we have created a health app based on simple oral gym exercises.
Together we developed Snore Free, the first app that improves the sleep quality and cures snoring, naturally and without the need of expensive or uncomfortable devices.
Snoring is mostly caused by a muscular weakness in the mouth and throat. The tissue becomes flaccid and obstructs the breathing in sleep. The oxygen level in the blood decreases, the sleep quality is severely impaired, and sleep is no longer restful.
Snoring is a widespread problem and affects globally more than 2 billion people of all sexes and ages.
Snoring is more than a bedtime annoyance. It shouldn't be ignored. Patients need to seek treatment in the same way they would if they had sleep apnea, high blood pressure, or other cardiovascular diseases. Other symptoms can be daytime tiredness, microsleep attacks, general loss of concentration, and in the long run, heart attacks and strokes. The lifespan can be reduced up to 10 years.
The Snore Free app training has a well-founded scientific background and can significantly increase the life and sleep quality, treat snoring, and helps boosting the immune system by providing a healthy sleep. With only 10 minutes of daily training, you can achieve clear results. 80% of our users report a remarkable success within a few weeks.
The Snore-Free method tackles the root cause of snoring, the weak, loose muscles in the throat and pharynx, which impede the flow of breath. The method is successfully applied by me for 13 years. It strengthens the muscles in the mouth, helping them to stay firm during sleep and keep the airways more open.
At the moment, there are mostly sleep tracking apps, some of them with millions of users. An elaborated anti-snore therapy hasn't been in the App Store until now. Despite a small marketing budget, we can report promising scale and continuous growth.
Currently, we are working on the inclusion in the list of apps with a health insurance certificate in Germany. These apps can be prescribed then by doctors and therapists, and the subscription costs will be reimbursed by their public health insurances.
The Snore Free app can be downloaded for free, including 6 exercises. We offer 4 premium subscription models to take full advantage of the entire program. Our business model is based on classic B2C in the app stores and B2B cooperations with the public healthcare sector, mobile technology providers, and insurances.
A new study showed that patients with sleep apnea have an 8-fold greater risk for a COVID infection and facing severe symptoms.
We are a compact team of passionate and driven digital health enthusiasts working together since 2018 on a smart solution to solve one of the biggest social and medical challenges of modern times. Snoring and sleeping problems are affecting billions of people, but only a small fraction have access to an evidence-based treatment.
Our mission is to make the best anti-snoring therapy available to everyone and to offer snore-free globally and cost-effectively. We provide our unique therapy to all people who are limited by time, geographic, financial, or physical restrictions.
Snore-free is a market-proofed health app with an enormous potential to scale. Now we are looking for an investor to expand our international footprint fast and sustainable. We look forward to your evaluation.
Thank you so much for your pitch. It was really interesting. And I'm also looking towards Ashuri, who wants to be the first asking the question. Any experience yourself with snoring?
Definitely snoring is a huge issue, a huge problem, and I'm certain that you have a great market there. I would be interested, how far are you in the development, really? So as far as I understand, you already have the app. What is it, your next step, and what is it what you would need from us?
We are now, we gained already 65,000 downloads. We are now online since 1.5 years in App Store and Play Store. And our next big step is to finance our application, which is app on prescription in Germany. For that, we need the CE certificate as a medical product. And yeah, this is our next big milestone, as well as implementing more languages for our global users.
Thank you so much for your pitch and also for being part of the Startup World Cup. And we're now coming to our third startup for today, which is Pocketcoach. And Pocketcoach, they are a digital coach for stress and anxiety. So also something which also might be more than ever now relevant to Corona and everything which comes with it. So I think we're really excited for Pocketcoach to hear about their potential solution and what they offer to tackle those problems.
Can you hear me? Can you not hear me or see me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, and see me as well?
So we will need to wait a few minutes until Pocketcoach is ready. So yeah, I would be really interested how you feel. Have you experienced to like maybe more kind of self-isolation and sitting in the home office? How are you feeling today? Yeah, maybe let us know, so we're all here also to support each other, and I hope at one time in the future it will also be possible to meet again at physical events, where we're also looking forward. I think Pocketcoach is here. I heard hello for 2 times.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, got it.
Everything set?
I hope so.
Yeah, now we go.
Cool, perfect. Hi there, hi everyone, thanks for waiting. My name is Manuel. I'm one of the founders of Pocketcoach, and what we are focusing on is the problem of stress and anxiety. It's actually one of the biggest, not only mental, but real health problems out there at the moment. But most people don't receive any help for it. More specifically, if you look at all the population, we have about 1 in 5, that's 18% of the population every year struggling from some kind of anxiety. And if you look more closely, you see that about 70% of those don't receive any treatment. And the ones who do in Germany, but also in Austria and in many other countries, have to, on average, wait for 4.5 months till they see a therapist. So there's a huge gap here, and the real problem that we need to address. And the way it is addressed at the moment, and that most digital solutions also address it, is by relying on the traditional therapist client model. Yeah, that means there's online therapy, traditional therapy taken online or enhanced by technology, like added to online courses or VR. But what we are missing is we need to address it much earlier. We need to address many more people. So we need a fully automated solution, because only a fully automated, highly scalable solution that at the same time is validated can fill this gap, this huge gap that we're facing. And that's where Pocketcoach comes in. Pocketcoach is essentially a chatbot therapist, or a chatbot coach, if you will. It's guiding its users through conversation by conversation and teaching them the skills to better deal with their thoughts, with their worries, with their emotions, just like a real therapist would. Because what we have a team of psychologists and therapists who write these conversations together with our scientific advisory board, and we use what is called cognitive behavioral therapy to really teach people the skills to better cope with anxiety. The people who use our app are mostly the younger generation. It's the generation that is very comfortable interacting with technology, with chatbots, maybe even more comfortable than sharing their intimate details with another person. So what we see that if people use the Pocketcoach app for 2 weeks, they on average improve by 19%. We did a small pilot study on this, and we're at the moment running 2 clinical trials to get more rigorous, to basically put the Pocketcoach app through more rigorous research. Our use cases here are, first and foremost, what we are focused at the moment is self-payers. That means people who are using Pocketcoach at the moment pay for it themselves. But where we're going right now is these 2 use cases on the left-hand side. There are health insurers who are, we are very close to being reimbursed by all the major German health insurance companies as a prevention tool, as a tool that gives people early access, not when they have a real disorder, but much earlier on when they can do something by themselves. And pharma, which is combining Pocketcoach with pharmacological treatment. So our next steps are actually becoming reimbursable by insurers in Germany, which is about 2 months away. We are then working on becoming a medical product and continuing to work on this. We are already in collaborations with a pharma company to really make the most out of what Pocketcoach can be, and that is a low barrier, low cost, but relatively effective tool for those people who otherwise wouldn't get any help. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pocketcoach, for your pitch. Who from the jury has the first question?
I would like to know what is your expectation really now, and what would you like to happen? I've seen Pocketcoach a long time ago, and it has obviously very much developed now. And how would you describe this journey? Because you were talking about the different segments in this field, and so what is it the next step really again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this journey has really been a journey of moving from what we started out with, which is self-payers, kind of making people pay for it themselves, towards kind of becoming more comfortable in the regulatory environment, which is where we are in this healthcare systems. So we are close to being reimbursed by all the major German insurances, which is big, which is the business model that we're focusing on, B2B2C, having insurers or maybe pharma or maybe employers pay for Pocketcoach, so the end user doesn't have to. So that's where our focus is right now.
Just I wanted to know, how far are you in this focus? I mean, I understand this is where you want to go. What is the response? What is it? How they are reacting on it? Have you already reached out, and what is the reaction?
Yeah. I mean, we are in the middle of the certification process, and it's kind of on the horizon. It will be done soon, being certified as a prevention focus tool. We've been in contact with many of the big social insurances in Germany, as well in Austria, where it's actually a bit more difficult. I would say much more slowly things are moving, and we are already also working with a pharma company. That's early, but that is for us long term the most promising thing, because combining pharmacological and a very scalable digital solution is where we've seen the biggest deals in the market and where Pocketcoach could really excel, in my opinion.
Thank you so much. That sounds really ambitious, and we wish you all the best. And yeah, we're our third participant for the category Digital Health and Biotech. And
Thank you.
in about 1 hour, we already know who's gonna be the winner in this category. See you later. Now, next, our second category for today is security and big data. And our first startup for today in this category will be Circly. Welcome on stage. They save resources through technology. And yeah, I guess we're really excited how to do that. What mechanism do they have in place to save resources? And yeah, they're already here. Welcome.
Hi, I hope everybody can see my screen and also my picture. Just give me a short feedback, please.
Yeah, it works. Perfect.
Perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, so I'd like to start with a problem because everybody tell you something about waste and waste of resources. It's on everybody's lips. But the fact is that that food waste is responsible for 3.3 gigatons of CO2 emission, which is making it the third biggest CO2 polluter in the world, right behind the US and China. And we as a team ask ourselves how we can offer a wide range and a large number of companies the opportunity to act sustainable and economically efficient at the same time. So my name is Eric, and I'm one of the co-founders of Circly, and we're developing state-of-the-art AI technology specialized in retail and logistic of FMCG goods. We all know that every company has multiple areas which lend themselves to being optimized, right? But there's one area in particular that is the most attractive because it can be easily improved with AI or with technology. And yes, it's the resource management. FMCG companies often are faced with high manning, overstocks, perishable goods, and inaccurate procurement and the order forecast. However, this problem is usually not originate within the company itself. It's more triggered by the customer and the consumer on the other side. They ask for choices and a wide range of availabilities, and the company just responds by offering the wide range of products and the permanent availability. But changing dependencies in between those two parties are making forecasting inaccurate, availability of the products unpredictable, and increases the waste of resources. Currently, smart tech solutions that could solve this problem are either inflexible, expensive, complex, or difficult to understand. Often, unfortunately, all of them. A report by the MacArthur Foundation and Google estimated that technologies empowering to design out the food waste and using AI technologies are helping up to generate a value of $127 billion a year worldwide by 2030. Based on the European Union and machine learning, so the technology to solve it, which has a 20% market share,
This market is estimated up to 1.5 billion euros a year just in Europe. But now it's the question, who is taking this market fast enough? And we think it's Circly, because we're offering a different approach. We're developing an interactive no-code AI toolbox so that companies without any AI expertise or with smaller budgets can take advantage of the technology. Because we're providing ready-to-use modular AI models, a wide range of external data, which often is the biggest problem in developing such solutions, and ready-to-use dashboards. We also provide an API for existing ERP systems so that also the big companies can take advantage of the technologies. And yes, it is easy as it sounds. You only need your own business data, such as sales figures, marketing campaigns, marketing data, and we provide you the technology as a prediction as a service model, including all the external data. Circly enables you to take advantage of the technology, even without any AI experience. And together we optimize your procurement, analyze your marketing trends, and improve your resource planning and warehouse management. This team already made it up into different programs and incubators. And we also locked up 3 major Austrian retailers and logistic companies. And be curious to know who it is when we are able to communicate to the outside. And now I'm hoping for your questions and to get a quick chat about it.
Thank you so much, Circly. And we're having a question from Patrick.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Eric, for the pitch. My question would be, you mentioned you're going to use external data. What kind of data are you going to use? And I mean, the companies, they're also doing this kind of resource planning, stock planning, also based on internal data and on past data like usage data. How are you planning to integrate that and to really provide a solution which is on the one hand focused for the needs of the customer, but also on the other hand still scalable?
Yeah, I would split that question up. So we're taking the internal data in two options. One option is to have a data dump via a drag and drop into our system, for example, through CSV or Excel sheets. And the other side would be an integration with an API solution on the part of the internal data, and on part of the external data, we are providing a wide range of like standard APIs. For example, Google Trends is very popular. Social media like Facebook ad APIs and so on. So if you ask for any kind of a data set, we also always try to implement it into the system so that you can use it as the company on the individual side, and then we provide it to all the other companies who are using our system also in the second step.
Thank you so much. I hope this was answering your question, Patrick.
Yes.
And now we're coming to the second startup of the category security and big data, which is MLReef. They have an application for the entire machine learning life cycle. So also really excited to see them live on stage in a second. I think machine learning is now more important than ever, than that everything is around big data. And yeah, we are here already. Hi, on welcome stage.
Now you can hear me, huh? Perfect, thank you. So hi, I'm Camilo, I'm founder of MLReef. At MLReef, we follow one goal, to host and to enable the entire machine learning lifecycle in one platform. Why does this matter to us? The world is changing and new challenges and opportunities arise. To give a few examples, mobility is changing, probably faster than ever before, and required to sustain an increased demand, higher speeds and higher quality standards. Farming is changing, requiring more efficient ways of monitoring crop growth and soil composition needed to sustain an ever-growing world population. Shopping is changing from local to global distribution networks, new habits and new digital experiences. And the entire world around us is changing. And we need new scalable methods to monitor change to effectively drive responsive actions on a really global scale. So with new technologies such as AI, there are also new possibilities. It can make workflows way more efficient. It gives new insights to sometimes only nuanced data patterns impossible for humans to detect. It drives automation and it can enable sustainable solutions. So let's all of us adopt AI, right? Well, sadly, it's not that easy. The field of applied AI is still in its infancy and there are many challenges to bear. It's a lack of talented people, the required infrastructure, a lot of inefficiencies in the workflows. It's the hard access to data and to functions, and that could continue for a while. But if you truly condense all these challenges down, you will end up on an economical one. It's simply too expensive, and that the knowledge-based entry barriers are still too high. It's just too difficult. So either organizations are excluded, are forced to project rationing, or most of the AI projects simply fail. A recent study putting the number up to 87%. So what do we need to do to really unlock the full potential of AI? Our approach is to create a common habitat introducing modularity and reusability principles in machine learning development, creating an effortless transition to efficiency and collaboration. MLReef is an end-to-end MLOps platform enabling easy access and instant reuse of machine learning content, and it focuses deeply on collaboration and reproducibility. We want to drive a new paradigm shift in AI development, away from an unstructured, notebook-centered and operator-reliant machine learning development towards a modular, orchestrated, transparent, collaborative MLOps that it is easy to use, but at the same time offers the maximum degree of flexibility. This means super fast prototyping, very crucial aspects in machine learning development, a completely new level of collaboration, an effortless mean of sharing your work, high reproducibility of every value-added step, complete ownership, and thanks to the support of Google and Amazon, free computing resources. MLReef is based on a B2B SaaS and on-premise business model. It is based on a freemium model with licenses based on seats and features. You pay per computing infrastructure used, and we provide customer success services. And for the next 12 months, we need to improve the general UX, fully implement the licensing model and the resource management part, and we want to start positioning MLReef for enterprises across Europe and the globe. We are working with early clients such as Saab Group or the European Space Agency. MLReef is also increasingly used by self-service users, but there is still room for improvement. Nevertheless, we are at around 10,000 computing hours used every month, with around 25% increase month over month. Meet the team. We are still a highly development-focused team working all remotely across the globe with a really true passion to position MLReef as the leading MLOps platform globally. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your pitch, MLReef. So also looking towards to Shuri, who wants to take this question.
I was wondering really who is the competition in this case?
Well, we are competing on a global scale. You have to see there are many. If you see the market, there are solutions that are very pointy. There's providing solutions for very specific problems during the machine learning lifecycle, and there are MLOps platforms which are more horizontally aligned. We are definitely on the horizontally side, and there are big platforms such as Google Cloud Platform, for example, Microsoft Azure, and so on. But for us, the true unique perspective that we're having is the true focus on collaboration. And collaboration means for us that you can reuse the stuff that others have made, that you can work concurrently on the same project and not only on your own on silos. And this is something that is quite unique, and we truly believe that this is something that will provide the solutions that companies need when they're applying their machine learning applications and they want to really scale their efforts in this.
Thank you so much. And this was already the last startup for the second category, which means we are heading right into our first break for today. We'll have a 10 minutes break, so we will be back at 7:20, and then we will go and see the startups from the second other categories, which are social and climate impact, and also future of work and edutech. So see you back in around 10 minutes. Bye. Hi, everybody, and welcome back. We just needed a little longer break, but now we are back here, and we want to highlight once again we are part of something bigger. We're doing this Startup World Cup as preparation for our event called Investor Summit, where the finale of this will take place, which will take place during Vienna Up. So in 2 weeks, a 2-week startup experience will take place in Vienna. But as we have a pandemic right now, it's virtually. So good news, everybody around the world can take place and can see the potential of Vienna as a tech and startup hub. And we now have Gabi Tatzberger, who's the head of the Vienna Up, explaining what it's all about and also giving you a short glimpse what's going on in these 2 weeks.
A startup is like assembling an orchestra or a band. Let's say there is this amazing violinist, a great percussionist, an exceptional performance artist. If you bring them all together, this is where the magic happens, and that's what we do. My name is Gabriele Tatzberger, and I'm the person in charge of Vienna Up 21, the international startup festival taking place in spring 21, bringing together rebels, founders, and innovators, with events spreading across the city like a firework of inspiration.
So every time I see this video, I find it really inspiring and can't wait to start with this experience, and also looking forward to meet you all at the Investor Summit. We will also post the login link in the chat right now, so you can already pre-register and don't miss anything. And now it's already time for our third category, which is social and climate impact. And we will welcome on stage now gnista.io. They empowering industrial digitalization. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Anna, co-founder of gnista.io. Gnista is Swedish for spark and stands for the many ideas people in the industry have every day in order to improve their production. Gnista.io empowers them to put these ideas into action. What we're doing today is great. Trends like Industry 4.0 and the need to tackle the climate crisis have led us to put up sensors and measure everything that is going on. But the problem is, not a single digitization project in the industry scales, because 80% of project costs are lost in simply accessing data. This is why 70% of already existing IoT data just remains unused. Let me be a bit more precise here. In one of our first projects with our first paying customer, a local energy provider, Martin, the facility manager, wanted to answer a simple question about the energy usage of his pumps in order to make them more energy efficient. It almost took him 3 months to find the right data within the company and answer his question. The data is mostly hidden in data lakes or data warehouses, and only experts can access it. And once he has the data, he would need to learn Python or Julia or whatever software there is in order to be able to efficiently analyze this data and get a relevant information. This is where we come in. With gnista.io, his answer is only a few clicks away. Gnista.io makes working with IoT data as common as writing emails. In order to truly leverage the potential of digitalization in the industry, we need to give the people access to the data that is there and make it a daily habit to check for information and use this information to improve production. Gnista.io is a knowledge hub for IoT data, where people with data knowledge and people with domain knowledge share a common language and store what they know. The drag and drop interface gives domain users the opportunity to analyze their data easily and constantly improve. energy managers and quality managers or whatever managers there are in the reporting area can transparently and reliably report relevant KPIs. And with all this data constantly organized and mapped, on company level, new data-driven solutions can be implemented way faster. We are a diverse team with plus 20 years of experience in the software developing industry and plus 10 years of experience in the manufacturing and the startup industry. So, but most importantly, with all this experience, we are joined by one common goal, which is making the industry more sustainable. With this awesome team, we've already achieved to onboard 4 research partners that help us develop our technology at newest standards, 4 industry partners who have teamed up with us to develop a product that they really love, and our plus 30 beta users who can't wait to get their hands on our first version, which will be rolling out this autumn. So if you're curious, go check out and go sign up for our waitlist, and please help us kick off this revolution.
Thank you so much for your pitch, and it was my fault. It was supposed to be Campfire first, but now we have you anyway, so it's fine. We will just have Campfire next. And looking toward the jury, who wants to go for a question?
Just to clarify, we are Campfire Solutions. We just developed the tool gnista. That's where the confusion came in. Yes.
Sorry. Okay. So everything is fine. We have Campfire with gnista. It's the same.
That's all right.
The question is, I would like to know more about who are you competing with and what is really your market? How do you approach your clients? So 2 things. One is the competition, and the second one is the go-to-market strategy.
Yes. Okay, so first with the competition, there are big players in the industry who try to provide solutions where data is organized and mapped. Such solutions are, for example, provided by Siemens, and they just acquired Mendix, who also give a no-code data tool, but they don't have the focus on energy efficiency use cases and don't have the focus to really make data analysis that easy, so everybody, especially domain experts, can use it. So they are a competitor. And then there are also tools that apply for IoT data, but mostly in monitoring the IoT data, not really analyzing it and calculating with it. Such tools are, for example, Splunk or Dynatrace. So those are the competitors. So our focus is really on making it usable for the people in the industry on facility level, and especially with the energy use cases that we're starting with. And how are we approaching the market? This is also connected kind of to our USP approach. We really want to start with the people at facility level. People sitting in the facilities already looking for solutions. Those are the ones we want to reach first. They get free access to our SaaS platform to calculate with the data they have and to use it. And once they want to have more and more data connected to gnista, or this is where we scale and also have the pricing model. And yeah, to reach them, we start with a typical content marketing strategy and the community building strategy. I hope this answers your question.
Thank you. I think it does. And we have a second question from Michael.
Yeah, because you mentioned Dynatrace and Splunk, my next question is, what technology are you using in the background? Is this something special? And also, are you trying to become a no-code data analytics platform? Because you mentioned that before.
Mm-hmm. So the no-code data analytics is really a big part of our platform, because the goal is to have mapped data to be able to connect it to AI-driven solutions and data-driven solutions. But in order to have this data mapped and usable, we need people to use it. And this is where the no-code part comes in. We give the people an incentive to work with the data and therefore constantly map it and use it. So yes, we're doing this no-code, and it's a big part of the incentivation of people using the platform. And I'm sorry, what was the second part that you mentioned?
What technology are you using to store the data in the background?
So we're not storing the data on gnista itself. We're connecting to data banks and data warehouses that companies already have, that already exist. But the technology that we're using that makes our solution that fast and that makes it fast to realize data, recognize data, and kind of organize it is what we're working with together with the Technical University of Vienna, where we're building knowledge graphs in order to make data accessible very fast. And this is also kind of our unfair advantage that we have.
Okay. I have many more questions, but I think the time does not suffice. I think what you're doing is interesting. Let's maybe get in touch, because you might know I'm running a no-code YouTube channel, and I'm very excited about this topic. So it would be awesome to connect with you.
I'd love that. Please I will write you an email. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love these connections, which can also take place in a digital way, which is really great. And so once again, really use our chat and engage with others here. So we're coming to our second startup for social and climate impact, which is epiclay. And they are a solution for urban climate and also really providing a great tool when it comes to clean air, especially in cities, and at the same time making the environment greener. So welcome on stage.
Thank you, Laura. I hope you can hear me and see me already.
Yeah, it works.
Perfect. All right. Hi, I'm Chris. I'm the CEO of epiclay, and it's our mission to envelop buildings with green lungs. Why we do that? Basically because we have identified two megatrends. One, of course, being air pollution with the tremendously challenging impact that it has on us and our environment. The other one being urbanization. That means that a lot of air pollution comes at a very dense and limited space. So cities, of course, have to take actions, and there are multiple things that we can and have to do, but one of the most efficient ones is greening the city, because you don't only reduce air pollution, you also reduce urban heat significantly. But as you can imagine, we cannot just plant millions of trees in a city like Vienna or basically any other metropole because of this limited space, again, caused by urbanization. So as a reference, we currently have 500,000 trees in the city of Vienna, which is already a pretty good number on a global scale. But at the same time, we have one infrastructure which is basically just standing around doing nothing, and that's the facade space. In fact, 120 million square meters of greenable facades in Vienna alone, which is currently not used, but has a huge potential to reduce air pollution and urban heat islands. So of course, there have been companies which tried to green this vertical space, but they had three main issues. They were either too heavy for existing buildings, very complex in their installation, or lastly, and that's the big pain point, very high in maintenance and therefore very costly on a long run. And that's exactly why the global green wall market is still in a rather early stage, in a reference project stage, you could say, and we want to change that and bring it to a really large scale implementation. How we want to do that? Basically by combining the most robust plants found in nature with our innovative platform technology, the epiclay modules. These are not only fully produced in Austria by Gmundner Keramik and fully recyclable, meaning that they can be 100% circular economy compliant reuse in the construction industry. They also, next to the environmental benefits, have an increase in energy efficiency through the plants and the clay modules, which leads to a bottom line benefit for property developers. Lastly, we really want to focus on the big pain point in the current solutions, the maintenance needs. How we want to reduce that is by sitting at the intersection of biology on one hand and material sciences on the other hand. Our solution focuses on the three big pain points in terms of maintenance. The 3D printed surface, which directly allows the plants to grow on the modules without any soil needed. The irrigation system inside of each and every module, which allows us to not need constant irrigation and therefore save water resources. And lastly, the extremely robust plants we use, which don't even have to be cut. We want to achieve this with our international and transdisciplinary team of architects, biologists, and business developers, as well as with the help of our great and experienced advisory board of CFOs, VCs, and civil engineers. Last year, we were honored to bring the title of the best early stage university startup in the world to Austria. This year, we want to compete for the same title, but without the prefix of university. So we would love to hear any questions that might have come up and are more than happy to connect in the future as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your pitch. And we're having a question from Patrick.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see epiclay here. We saw each other last year also at the Entrepreneurship Avenue, and I think that that's really great that you moved on, that you founded your company, and that you're targeting now the next step. So first of all, congrats to that. And my question is, I did not fully understand whether you're targeting new or existing buildings, and what is your main target group? So maybe you can share a few thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, our solution fits for both existing buildings as well as retrofits, but we see the really big impact on existing buildings because you can actually act immediately. So that's what we are focusing on right now.
And your main target group?
Exactly. So we don't see it as one specific vertical. We have rather identified our target group along 3 criteria: the size of the real estate portfolio, the sustainability consciousness of the organization, as well as their innovation potential.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
And we're also having a second question from Michael. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I would love to understand how you project your revenues into the future, and how do you earn money, and how much revenue do you think you will make in the next 5 years?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, of course, we are still in a very, very early stage. We very much acknowledge that we are currently in the pilot project phase, which is significantly lower sizes of the projects than we will see in the future. But how we will make money is basically in the beginning, in the first 1, 2, 3 years, we will have a whole transactional revenue based on doing the whole project from planning to implementing with our selected partners. But we are already now getting inquiries by main producers in the facade industry, for example, Rockwool as the main producer in Europe for stone wool, which want to go in some sort of distribution or licensing partnerships based also on our IP portfolio. So that's the way how we will scale then far beyond the Austrian market.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you also from my side. And so we're already done with our third category, moving to future and work and edutech. Welcoming on stage our first startup called senseven. They are in the space of future of work. They are empowering everybody to inspect industrial assets. So I'm already excited what that means and what's their approach to this. Welcome. I think the startup just needs a few more seconds. So
yeah, I'm already here.
We just have 2 startups left for now, and then we will go into a break where the jury will make their decision. And after that, around 8:20, we will already announce the winners. And you, at this whole time, you have the opportunity also to go into the networking, go into the sessions. So the startup is ready now. Welcome.
Yeah, hello everyone, my name is Michael. Today, industrial companies have many assets, and many of them are still the causes for unexpected downtimes. In order to detect defects, companies spend every year $8 billion for industrial inspection. But here's the problem with industrial inspection. Although there are several methods, the inspection is very complex, error-prone, and requires extensive expertise. A study from a large energy provider in London showed that in some cases, only 1 out of 6 operators at least identifies 75% of the defects. So finding the problem solely depends on the experience of the person doing the job. And we all know that finding skilled labor is extremely hard these days. But even if you have the experts in your team, the whole inspection process is non-digital, and the interpretation of such a signal is highly time-consuming. These problems result in inefficiencies, additional costs, and in the worst case, in environmental pollution. That's why we at senseven want to put an end to this and we developed the first real digital and smart mobile inspection system. Our solution uses acoustic emission sensors that can detect the smallest defects without intervening into the process. The sensor is directly connected to a smartphone, where a software and an AI enable fast and simple inspection. So what makes our device better than devices from our competitors? Well, first, our solution is digital and connected. We directly integrate asset management systems and report defects directly. Also, we offer error-free inspection. Different inventions, such as the automated sensor coupling, remove many mistakes that are usually made. And on top of that, our AI classifies the signal for you, so you don't need any training or expertise. And even more, our AI not only distinguishes between good and bad, but also provides information about the extent of the damage and how this affects your maintenance plan. So what does the market look like? We target the global non-destructive testing market, which is estimated at $8 billion and is expected to grow on average 7% each year until 2024. Our target industries are energy provider, chemical and pharma, as well as building materials. And with senseven, you can inspect various machines and find different defects, making senseven a platform for understanding equipment health. So customers today have either the option to buy a bulky device and invest in expensive trainings, or they just outsource the inspection. With senseven, they have a new option, which is faster and digital. The distribution of our product in the DACH region will be taken care by ourselves, because this is where we have our great network. In other countries, we will work with distribution partners. This is quite common in this market, and we've already acquired our first partner in France. Our business model is very simple. You just pay a one-time fee for the inspection device, and then we charge a rate for every inspection that depends on the use case, but the prices start at €15 per measurement. So who's behind senseven? My name is Michael, and I'm the CEO. I've already co-founded a startup that focuses on industrial AI that employs over 30 people today. My co-founder and CTO Christoph is a world-class engineer who takes care of the product development. We are also proud to have Horst Ratnik, CTO of Wallen, as our advisor for hardware and sensors, as well as Anna Krausgruber, head of investor relations at Wienerberger, as our advisor for marketing and strategy. We just started senseven a couple months ago, and we're about to launch our first product, ValveSense, which identifies leaking valves. First tests were extremely successful, and we want to file our first patent for the inventions that make our product so simple and error-free. We plan to have the first paying customers by the end of Q2, and we want to launch the next 2 use cases in the beginning of next year, which brings us closer to change the future of work and to empower everyone to inspect industrial assets. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your pitch. That was really nice. Who from the jury wants to take on this?
I mean, yeah.
I see Michael raising his hand.
Yeah. Okay. So I find it very exciting. I think it's a very interesting solution. Can you explain a bit more? Because now you have a few more seconds. The technology and why it's actually better. Like really, how you're doing it. I'm a tech person, so if you can give me like a bit more detail on why it's better than your competition.
Okay. So in general, what we're using is basically an ultrasound technology, and doing an inspection with this device, many things can go wrong. Just the way how you put the sensor on the device can change the signal in a factor of 5 to 10, which makes an inspection extremely difficult. So what we're doing is actually we've developed our own, basically like an automated coupling verification. So we know if the sensor not only has a good coupling on the material, but also if the signal is very clearly, if the background noise is not too noisy. So basically we do all the job for you, which makes basically it very easy to do the inspection. And this is actually the basis if you want to develop an AI, because if you want to have an AI, you need to take care that doing the same measurement again leads to the same basically data. And currently this is not the case. And with our inventions, we should be able to do this.
Very interesting. And last question, if I may, it's like you showed a phone on your slides, right? So yes. How is the phone connected to this technology?
So currently it's connected via USB-C. That's also the reason why we currently only support Android phones. but we plan for the next year to do the transmission via Bluetooth. So in that case, we could also support iPhones, and also if you want to go into the so-called explosion areas of industrial companies, we also need this Bluetooth technology because USB is not allowed in this area.
Right. Cool. Thank you very much. Great stuff.
Thank you too.
Thank you. So we are having the last but not least startup for today, which is in the area of edutech, and it's called eSquirrel, and they are making textbooks playable. So I hope there was some advancement from the textbooks I remembered when I was in school until what's possible now, especially in a virtual age. And I think it's really important to make education more fun. So excited to hear your solution.
Okay, thank you. eSquirrel works with almost all Austrian textbook publishers and brings the classroom into the 21st century. The 21st century, you say, is already 21 years around. That's right. But imagine you fell asleep in a classroom 40 years ago. You wake up now and look around. What has changed? Not so much, actually. Instead of videotapes, students watch YouTube videos and sometimes even read books as PDFs. Can this be everything? A teacher just called me recently and told me, do you know, Dr. Mara, with your learning platform, I've regained my motivation as a teacher. I've been frustrated and demotivated for 10 years now. I didn't enjoy it. My students didn't enjoy it. But since I started to use your app, I've been happy to teach again. And I see that on my students' faces as well. How does eSquirrel achieve this? Firstly, because we bring digitization into schools without waiting for any laptop or tablet initiatives. We achieve this with means that are available to schools right now. This especially includes students' smartphones, even older ones, without needing any Wi-Fi, completely available offline. Secondly, because we make a fun and entertaining, yet accurate and high-quality course for every textbook. Students love to learn with our courses. They challenge each other, collect acorns, and play through levels so that they really enjoy it and want to learn on their own. We achieve this by unifying concepts like blended, mobile, and adaptive learning, spaced repetitions, and gamification. And thirdly, because it makes life easier for teachers too. Teachers tell us how fast they can give homework with eSquirrel and how much time they save each week by no longer having to correct tests, but can conveniently view results and learning analytics through our platform. They see where their students still struggle and where they're already experts even before the lesson starts. We now cover almost 200 textbooks from most of the Austrian textbook publishers, starting with the largest ones like ÖBV, Veritas, Hertz, Lemberger. And we are part of multiple strong alliances like the main German and Austrian educational alliances and also A1 Telekom Austria. We cover all subjects from biology over English to mathematics, but also German, Latin, Spanish, French, you name it, we have it. Currently, with more than 350,000 created exercises, including audios, mathematical formulae, and explainer videos, which have already been answered 22 million times, 100,000 users, and a team of 90 authors, including the author of Austria's #1 math textbooks, we are growing rapidly. Our team creates 20 new courses every month. Our strong partner A1 Telekom Austria helps us to broaden our portfolio in Europe and put out our feelers on the American market. With the global trend of EdTech that ignited due to the corona pandemic, we started an industry that has just begun to skyrocket. There are about 400,000 relevant textbooks in the EU, and their digital appearance mostly limits itself to simple PDFs. Every publisher needs to spend at least hundreds of thousands of euros and several years to be digitally competitive, which small and medium publishers cannot afford. So sometimes they end up with very bad and cheap solutions. Instead, they get a validated, affordable, and high-quality solution with eSquirrel right here and right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your pitch. I think that sounds really excited, and I would have loved to have that back in my days at school. Who from the jury wants to take on and ask the question? I see Michael raising his hand, so please go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. So you're saying, so very cool. Thank you for the awesome presentation. You're saying you support textbooks, and I'd want to know a bit more in detail. What does that mean when you say you support these textbooks, or you can read them? What does that exactly mean? Do you copy them into your app? Are they digitalized? You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure. So for example, there's a textbook like this. There's our eSquirrel icon on the back, and you can just scan it, and then you have a course corresponding to this textbook on your apps, on the eSquirrel app. So
cool.
You have digital exercises corresponding to the book that are mobilely optimized, so really made for the smartphone, with concepts of micro-learning and mobile learning, so that you don't have to read over long pages, but really you get short questions and go on short quests that you can answer in 5 or 10 minutes and then go on to the next one. And there is also the connection to the ebook back again. So to the PDF, you can also from the smartphone go back to the PDF to have it with you as well.
And my tiny follow-up question, who is creating those courses for those books? Because I guess there can be very many. Are you only creating it as a company, or do you get help from outside?
Yeah, we do. On the one hand, we have a team of 90 authors that are normally either school book authors themselves or just teachers that write this content. And we also have the authors that work at the publishing houses themselves. So these authors write the books anyway, so they are the best ones to know how to digitally, how to put the content in there for especially their books. So we have an authoring tool that everybody can use. It's very easy. Anybody who can use Word can also create these questions that then are automatically translated in the mobilely optimized app.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And now we are at the end of our startups for today, which means it's already time to go into the sessions. You can either join the Gründerservices and Außenwirtschaftscenter at their session, or you meet the startups from the different categories in their sessions. There are 4 different ones, depending on the vertical. And we will be back at 8:20 and announcing the winners there. And well, you can also join the Startup Expo, but that's more about looking at to the pitch deck. So if you want to really talk to somebody, please use the sessions, which you can see on the left of Hop In. Thank you and see you soon. So, hi everybody, and welcome back after our break. And now it's already the most exciting time of this event. We will announce the winners. And before we do this, I'm pleased to get Patrick on the stage to discuss how we made the decision and how it was in the jury this time.
Yeah, so again, it was a very tough decision, of course, with a lot of discussion among the different categories, as the quality of startups was very high again this time. So really great job, all the startups pitching. We were super excited about them. So a lot of discussion we had together with Michael, Laura, and Selma. Yeah, but we came to a conclusion eventually, and now we are excited to nominate who is going to the finals.
Yeah, and we also have to say everybody who is here today is already a winner. As you might guess, we had the highest rate of applicants for this team due to the reason that most of the startups are situated in Vienna. So congratulations already to all of you to making it to our pre-event today. But yeah, there can just be 4 participants for the finale, which will take place on the 5th of May. So I'm happy to announce the winner of the first category, which is biotech and digital health. And it has already been a long evening, so I try to make it short. Congratulations to Rotable. Yeah, maybe you want to say a few words how you feel as the winners.
Sure thing.
Crazy, very surprised actually, to be honest. Yeah. So super thankful. Great to be here, and thanks for believing in what we are doing and supporting us in this. So yeah, and also congrats to everyone else. So it was a really great event. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, and please keep on the energy, keep on your motivational pitch. It was really a pleasure to have you. And so we're coming to the next category, which is security and big data. And again, please, Patrick, say and tell us who's going to be the winner.
Yeah, it was a tough decision. We saw in the area of big data, a lot of startups here targeting efficiencies, existing inefficiencies in different areas. What we saw is that agriculture is one of the main drivers of CO2 emission, and I think there's a lot of room for improvement, and therefore we want to nominate and to say congrats to MLReef, who is going to the finals. Congrats.
Good, thank you. Thank you.
Any
Yeah, thank you very much. It's an honor, obviously, and looking forward to the finals.
Great, yeah.
Thank you. So we're coming to our third category, which is social and climate impact. And again, it was quite hard for the jury to choose, as those 2 startups were really different. We had Campfire here and also epiclay. So once again, we want to mention, like, it's always tough to make decisions, especially when the startups are really different. And we tried to cluster in 4 categories, but still. And yeah, when it comes to like how it was for the jury to really get the product and understand what it is about, and also to really deeply understand the impact, we are happy to announce the winner, which is epiclay.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Laura. We are extremely honored. Big up to Anna and Campfire Solutions, which is an amazing solution. Yeah, and now we are looking forward to the finale. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we're coming to the last category and our last winner for today, which is Future of Work at EduTech. And again, here we had two different startups, one more in the space of future of work, one more in the space of EduTech. So again, yeah, we hadn't had an easy time, but we had to make a decision. And yeah, again, coming to the understandability of the product and also looking towards the finale. And also we have also seen the other categories, and in the end we have to choose the startup who's also able to compete with the startups from the other two teams. So yeah, Patrick, it's your turn again. I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, I mean, this was, to be honest, a particularly tough one because both of the pitches were really great. In the end, we saw that one of the pitches was maybe a little bit better in describing the problem which the startup is going to solve. And that is also why, and because of the great pitch and enthusiasm shown, we would like to nominate eSquirrel for the finals. Michael, we cannot hear you, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now it works.
Yeah, just saying thank you, and thank you also to my team for making this possible, and we're looking forward to the finale as well.
And keep your great spirit for the finale.
We will do that.
So thank you so much for this great event. It was the third and the last one of our fully digital event. We will see each other and we'll be back, as we already mentioned a few times today, on the 5th of May. It will gonna be a hybrid event, so it will also be the first time for all the startup winners to come to Vienna, and also for us jury and also the moderation to be together in one room and see each other. So really excited to do this. And yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Please, we have already sent the link into the chat. Please already register so you secure your spot and don't miss out to see the finals. And yeah, the hop-in is still open for networking, so you can go back to the sessions or also go to the expo. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you all. Thank you for participating. Thank you to our partners. And yeah, see you next time.
to the jury call as if I am one of the startups presenting, because that is perfect, of course.
What is this shit?
Even if we just trace now the steps of what we did. Okay, so let's test now with the 50 frames to see if maybe that's the thing. Otherwise, everything should be exactly as it was. So should I talk?
Get down with the feedback.
Okay, so let's give it another.
Yeah, of course. No,
Because
there it is.
you're not in NDI.
No, I'm not getting the black magic signal. I have to restart the whole call.
Because of the 50. Okay, let's do it once again now with 25.
No, I will now. I'm just keeping on
You see,
50 and I'm looking, because now it's not even getting it yet, because it has changed. I have to restart all fucking Teams that it understands me. But now I'm on 50. So let's see. Before, to enable NDI, I had to log out and log in back. It wasn't enough for like.
And then like now.
It's also not getting the. It's a pain in the ass. Oh man.
Actually, it doesn't look bad at all with this front camera.
Yeah.
There's enough light. Oh man. Why, Señor Jesús, María y José?
Okay, but the 25 it worked.
Do you switch it back to 25 now?
No, I did on.
But we need to confirm.
Yes, that's why I'm going on 50. Just want to get the eye going. Without having to restart the whole computer again. But obviously that will be the thing. And you see, like, all of a sudden the three dots also removed here now. It's like.
Okay, step 1. And let's keep keine black magic. But
in audio,
yeah, but that was the same thing that we saw yesterday. That you could see it in audio, but you don't see it in camera. And so, it's the 50 frames.
Obviously.
Can you move it back to 25?
Yeah, let's move it back first, and then disconnect it, and then.
Oh my god. Well, there was also an update in between.
And then we will try it with these. With the cheap shit.
Actually, I ordered again El Gato one to test the difference. So nice with Amazon, man, that you can just return stuff.
Yeah. So, we are in. Let's see that.
No, my god.
Can you feel the pain? It looks like you're having fun here, right?
I absolutely have no guess what I do.
We are just dying. We never had such a shitty stream.
Yes, I guess there was very easy. Today's wow.
Yesterday was too easy.
Today it also started easy, and then all of a sudden they're writing audio is shit.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
But it was only with the voice from here, because they could hear the...
Yeah, but I was also then like, in the talkback, I wasn't like good enough.
I mean, also they're exaggerating. It's not like they couldn't understand anything. They're such a diva.
Because they could still like...
Yeah, it's like, are you kidding me?
Just shut up.
But it was the same company as this?
No, it's the last time it Andre. Yes, no, it's good. I'm getting on the head. Because I'm showing you.
Okay, so... This Martin, are you there? Like, died in the call.
Yeah, you watching it just right.
Okay, so we're testing once again if now it's going to work. See if it